Electrical engineers contribute to a wide variety of projects. With an understanding of electricity, electronics, and electromagneticism, they design systems which process information and transmit energy. Electrical engineers work with engineers from across every discipline in order to design and test solutions for almost every industry.
I knew at the age of 12 I wanted to be an electrical engineer. My best friend's father was a teacher and wanted her to be an electrical engineer. I figured I was just as good at math and science, so I should be one too. When I got to high school, I took all the math and all the science I could possibly take. Now, pre Google days, my mother was actually able to find an engineering organization that I could actually meet the people and talk to some engineers. That group was a mechanical group, which then gave me suggestions for electives I should take my junior and senior year of high school. It was helpful, but at this point, I still did not have a role model in electrical engineering or have any idea of really what the curriculum would look like. When I got to college was my first exposure, and college was tough, but I was able to get internships while I was in college. And that wound up being so important because it gave me an idea of the world of electrical engineering and all the different roles you can take in this field. So one year I did power for the entire campus, and another year I was diagnosing a printed wire circuit board. And because of my experience, I was then hired by the corporation full time. And once I got hired, I honestly realized I did not want to do design work. So I didn't want to be tied to a desk. I had the opportunity to actually work with manufacturers who brought parts into our company and work with them and see them make all these electrical parts. So I was able to use my theory plus statistics to be a quality assurance engineer. And that was great. I went to different parts of the country. It fit my needs. I then eventually took on other roles and moved up the ladder where I worked actually on our assembly floor, writing processes and procedures, which then took me more into the industrial engineering world. I also worked with design engineers before a product launched to make sure that they were meeting all the quality requirements as well as the requirements needed for our assembly floor. I eventually went on to actually manage suppliers when their contracts and the relationships and actually did more in the warehouse and did a lot when it came to processes and trying to be more efficient even in office environments. So I tell you all of this because even though at 12 I said I wanted to be an electrical engineer, I realized that the world of electrical engineering opened me to so much more. I realized that I didn't want to be tied to my desk and that operations industrial engineering was just a little more interesting to me, even though I still was able to use the problem solving and have exposure to all the theory that I learned in college. So for you, please ensure that you do your research. You have Google. Please reach out to organizations similar to Black Women in Science and Engineering, where I am the Chicago director, to understand more about these fields and the different roles you can do in these fields. Also, please, you have to do internships. Companies will not hire you without experience. Internships is a way for you to get experience. Thank you, Calculated Genius, for this opportunity to speak to your students. I am so honored that I was asked to do this.
Hi, my name is Shalini. I live in Chicago and I'm an electrical engineer. I love being an electrical engineer. part of the reason I think I have to give credit to my father, who's also an electrical engineer. I think he's the person who piqued my interest in engineering first. Growing up, I used to be good at math and science, and I used to love chemistry and physics, but I didn't make much of it back then. I just loved spending time with my father. We would just on a Sunday randomly sit down and start opening up a fan for no reason, and I used to go through his old books. I mean, I didn't understand much, but it was all just really fascinating to me. I think he's the person who I give credit for me being an electrical engineer. Before starting college, I thought I was interested in civil or structural engineering, but then I slowly gravitated towards electrical, and then I majored in electrical engineering. I studied in India, and then right out of college, my first job was actually business consulting. I mean, it was in engineering business consulting, but it was still business consulting. I was not really doing exactly what I studied. I think a lot of people told me that you cannot be in the field, you're a woman, you'll get tired, the working conditions are rough, it's not for women. And that's why I picked being a business consultant instead of an engineer. And I did not like it. So then I decided to do my master's, and then I did my master's again in electrical engineering, and then I joined KDM Engineering as an electrical engineer. And that's when I really started enjoying my work. I used to go out in field, come back and design stuff, and it was all very exciting, and I really love my job. I love working where I am. My advice to all the teenagers would be, if you find a subject that you like, go for it. Don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot study this or you're not suitable for this. Just give it your all. Study what you want. Go for what piques your interest, and just see what all subjects you like, and explore all the career options available to you in that subject, and just go for it. Don't let anybody stop you.